Okay, good morning, folks, and welcome to Swing Trading Today. This is Bob Desmond, and we're going to begin with the headlines that could drive the market. Whether or not we'll see anything huge come out of Fed Chair Powell's testimony today is yet to be seen, but I think that for all intents and purposes, we are guaranteed at least a quarter-point rate cut. Why am I so confident? It's because there's an 80% chance priced into the market, and the last thing that the Federal Reserve wants to do is disappoint the market. This is not the Federal Reserve of the 1970s, 1980s under Paul Volcker. Let's get to the charts. The NASDAQ down slightly this morning. I think what we're setting up here is for a breakout, despite the fact that it looks as though we may be putting in lower highs. And this is a 4-hour chart. These will all be 4-hour charts. And later on in this commentary, I'm going to segue over to trendspider charting, and we're going to go over some members' stock chart requests, which is where I review the symbols that our gold members submit for me to review on video. Okay, so we're expecting a breakout above this upper band of resistance. If so, guess what? New all-time highs. Okay, that's in all probability in the cards in the short term. And that's because that's the way the government wants it. This is not a free market, folks. So you may be sitting there saying to yourself, a record number of companies are projecting disappointing earnings for this coming quarter. Forget it. It doesn't matter. You may be saying that stocks are expensive on a PE basis. Forget it. It doesn't matter. What matters is cheap money and keeping the party going. Taking a look at the S&P 500, we broke down on this 4-hour chart back here on the 7th. We've consolidated. One could argue that we have the potential for, on a 4-hour basis, a head and shoulders setup. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Here's your neckline on a 4-hour basis. So keep an eye on that. Let's take a look at the U.S. dollar. Now, the dollar rallied up and into resistance yesterday and closed there. Overnight, however, we broke support and we are now moving a bit lower. This bar here opened up at 5 a.m. and that was only 22 minutes ago, so this won't close until 9 a.m. A lot can happen. My guess is we get a continuation push lower, unless, of course, the EU comes out with more of the most dovish, ridiculous planning for more quantitative easing that I've ever heard. This is not going to end well. Taking a look at gold. Gold and the U.S. dollar closed up yesterday together. Gold on a daily basis, I went over this with members last night on Market Wrap, flashed a bullish key reversal. We broke out here on the 2nd, failed to hold on the 9th, but again yesterday we broke back out to close above support. We are now consolidating. I think that gold is going to break out. We closed out the day yesterday at 1400 spot 50. We are slightly below that right now. I think that this is a light volume trade. I think that we are going to spike up probably today. Now, RSI putting in higher lows. It is broken out. And yes, we have been buying more gold. Actually, gold miners, I should say. Let me correct that statement. We have higher lows on RSI. We're looking for a breakout above 1402 spot 5. Then I think that we're probably going to head up to 52-week highs in the coming days in a heartbeat. Taking a look at oil. Oil saw a spike yesterday on a drawdown in crude supplies, and it is spiking this morning. And whatever you think you're hearing over in the Middle East with regard to Iran this, Turkey that, Syria this, Israel, that it's all about the price of oil and the preservation of the petrodollar. It also is important to keep the price of oil up, because if we do not, the first victims to file bankruptcy will not be Saudi Aramco. That's for sure. They're going to be the oil frackers here in the United States, and you're going to see the junk bond market implode. So oil must stay up. Expect more drama out of the Middle East. And the lower the price of oil goes, the more frequently you will see headline risk cross the headlines. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is firmly back above the 13,000 mark. We booked profits on Bitcoin again last week. We began buying it back at 3,800, and we made a tidy sum here in 2019. Will I get back involved? Only on a pullback and a setup. I won't chase it here. We are long of XRP, which is Ripple. Now let's segue over into members' stock chart request. All right, so let's begin with our first symbol. So we're going to use trendspider, and on the chart above, we're going to use a weekly chart, and below, using raindrop charting, we're going to use a daily chart. Now, this is a very nice setup here. We'll begin with the weekly chart, in that, let's first throw up some trend lines. All right, so what we did so far this week is that we've retested the lower band of support, and it appears as though we are going to spike up here. Now, what I want to do is throw up another resistance level, and you can see that it's also reflected down here on the weekly chart automatically. I love this software. So right now at current, we are flirting with a breakout on a weekly basis and also on a daily basis. Well, actually, we did break out yesterday. Now, for those not familiar with raindrop charting, it uses candlestick charting, as noted above, but it also uses VWAP, volume weighted moving averages. And the left side of this candlestick represents the morning price action as well as volume action. The right side of the candlestick represents, or raindrop, represents the afternoon price and volume action. And you could see that yesterday with this pregnant bubble on this raindrop candlestick, we had strong volume. That's what that represents, strong volume into the close on a breakout on a daily basis. Now, we haven't broken out on a weekly basis, but we are very, very close. So, do I like Etsy here? I do. I'm looking for a breakout on a daily basis, a retest, and then a continuation move higher. Just keep in mind that you have resistance up and around $70 per share. If we close above that level, this is going to be our new upper band of resistance in green. So Etsy looking really, really good as a long trade. The next symbol up, VMware. Same deal. We're going to use a weekly chart on top, a daily chart on the bottom. And I wish I could be as optimistic with VMware as I am, or I was with Etsy, because we have broken support here on a weekly basis, and you can see, as noted by, now keep an eye down here. I'm going to draw a line up here. Note all this resistance above, and it automatically populates down here on a daily basis. So you have a lot of resistance above at the 177.84 level, and now we have broken support. So this support level here at around 167.46 has also now become resistance, so not good. Now, on a daily basis, we did rally off the lows of the day yesterday. We did close with a bit of volume at the end of the day, but still, we need to defer to the weekly chart, and the weekly chart at current is telling us we are putting in lower highs, breaking support, and putting in lower lows. Therefore, we must avoid. However, we can always revisit on Friday, Because if we recapture this support level and manage to close back above this support level in blue, well then, that would be a bullish event. Perhaps right now they're wiping out weak longs. Who knows? But as it stands right now, we can only play with the cards that we are being dealt and that we know of, and the path of least resistance remains to the downside. I would avoid. NVIDIA. All right. Very interesting stuff here. Let's take off the trend lines for a moment. This is a resistance level I drew several weeks ago, and we have broken out on a weekly basis. Now, normally I would expect a pullback and a retest of the breakout point. I still think that could happen. So what I want to do here is set an alert at this resistance level. I want to know when we touch it. Okay. We're going to use I want to know pretty quickly when we touch that support level. We'll keep this live for the next 14 days. And given the price of the stock, it's well over $100. I'm going to use the sensitivity of within plus or minus $2.80 of this, what should be support level. So we're going to create an alert here. Set it and forget it. Good to go. There is my notation to the left, and I also have it down here to the lower right. Now, also, taking a look at this chart on a daily basis using raindrop charting, what you don't see with regular, I'm going to go to a regular candlestick right now on the upper chart. Now, take a look at yesterday's price action using a regular candlestick. This is a daily chart above using standard candlesticks, and a daily chart below using raindrop charting. Here's the value of using both. The value of using both is that while yesterday we did rally, we rallied off the lows of the day, and normally this is a chart or chart pattern that I would kind of ignore. However, using raindrop charting, taking a look at this raindrop chart pattern yesterday, it closed in blue. That is an indecision bar and one that should be respected. So what I want to do here is I want to take my crayon out, because now I'm suspecting that we may in fact break out on a daily basis. So what I want to do here as well now, just as we did on the weekly chart, I want to set my alert. We already have one down here. I want to know if we break through on a daily basis, NVDA daily, and again, we're going to keep this live 14 days. Narrow this down, go really low level. I want to be notified the minute that it breaks out and above this upper band of resistance. That way I can watch it. Our alert is set. And we're good to go. And that is it for today, folks. If you have any questions with regard to the charts I went over or TrendSpider, leave a comment below. And you get a 25% discount on TrendSpider using discount code CT25Z. It is also included with our silver and gold level memberships. Everybody have a profitable trading day. Be well.